Let me know how I can help.
I'm going to have to pace myself is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, me too.
So here's what's very exciting. I know many of you are going to, at first glance, say, I think that's Jenny Lee. Yeah, if you know these incredible loaves made from this 5th generation family run bakery, then you are absolutely right. Yes, this is Jenny Lee. But what we have for you is something they've not done for us before. This is the first day ever that their fantastic cinnamon and cinnamon raisin loaves are iced. I know. Would you look at all of that goodness? So let me get you started, and then I want to introduce you to our guest. What I will tell you is you get 4 of the 16-ounce loaves. These are iced, thick-sliced cinnamon bread. And you're going to let us know whether you want the original cinnamon, and can you see the swirls of cinnamon there? Yeah, and the slices are really, really thick. So that's your cinnamon. And then we also have for you as a choice cinnamon raisin. Again, swirls of cinnamon, but look at all the raisins in there, and they're all topped with that wonderful icing. Or if you prefer, and you're saying, I can't make a decision, cinnamon, cinnamon raisin, I like it all, we do have a combo. And so that'll bring you 2 loaves of each for your total of 4. The price that you see on the screen, however, that is a one-time only price. That means it's at that price of under $30 only for our show, and when our show is over, the price goes up. You do have free shipping and handling, and you can start shopping right away. M89224. Let me introduce you to Scott Baker. Come on in, who is part of this 5th generation family that brings us Jenny Lee. It's good to see you.
I'm so excited to finally work with you.
I will tell you, I know a lot of people know what you bring and know these wonderful loaves, but would you tell everybody a little bit about it if they're not familiar,
Sure.
and then talk about what's new today?
Absolutely. So 5-generation bakers, it's a literal term. I've been baking. My family has been baking for 5 generations, and we just learned how to bake bread the old-fashioned way. These breads are just like all the Jenny Lee breads that we bring to you. They're fermented, the dough. We allow that yeast activity to create acids and alcohol and just great flavor inside that dough. And then we use the finest ingredients. The swirl you mentioned, we use Corinchite Vietnam cinnamon. So it's actually a blend of Vietnamese cinnamon and Indonesia cinnamon, which is Corinchite is an island in Indonesia.
Oh my goodness. So look, first of all, can I just tell you, look at all of that and the best cinnamon. The bread inside is just tender and soft, but this is something, let me just turn it on top.
Oh, that's
this
the special, yeah.
is brand new today. So can we start with the cinnamon loaves? Because a lot of people are ordering their set of 4 in the cinnamon loaves.
Right, yes.
Tell me about this.
Well, you only find this bread on QVC. We will not have this bread anywhere else, but they really harken back to my grandfather's retail bakery. He sold iced breads, and my dad sold those iced breads. They're generally a very special occasion type item. We'd make them at holidays. We'd make them maybe once a month, and people would always buy them. They'd sell out.
Okay.
This icing is so
I got to
good.
try it. I have to try it. Scott.
Of course.
Oh my goodness. And then tell me about cinnamon raisin as I'm
Cinnamon raisin,
sampling.
it's the same formula, the same dough, but we add California raisins. Those California raisins are the large, juicy, plump Thompson seedless raisins. We like those California raisins.
Look at this. I mean, look at all the cinnamon swirled around that. I know what you're thinking. That's going to be the perfect, and whether you're using these for breakfast or lunch or, you know, dessert if you want to, or dinner, it's just the best bread, the best ingredients, the best cinnamon, and then topped with that icing. Talk to me about the icing, because you said to me, that's something that was not easy to do.
No, it's not. And you know what people always say, can I toast it because it's got icing on it? Yes, you can. Put it on a light, the lightest setting.
Okay.
And a pop-up toaster is going to stand up, so it's not going to slide off. It might slide off in a toaster oven, so use a pan.
Okay.
But that icing will hold up in the toaster, and when it's soft and toasted, it's so warm it just kind of melts in your mouth, and it just complements that cinnamon bread. What do you think?
It would be hard to have just a slice. That's what I think. Show me how it comes, because these are baked fresh, small batches, and they're delivered fresh.
Right, so this is the package here. You'll get 4 loaves. Cinnamon generally is our most popular. We'll see what turns out to be the most popular here. But
they're all popular right now, Scott.
Yeah,
They're all. Let me bring my friend Jane in. Do you like a,
Hi,
do you like a
Jane.
good cinnamon
How are
bread?
you?
You too. It's been a while.
It has.
I love a good cinnamon bread for
How about
sure.
the ice?
I know. All right, I'm going in.
Okay.
Can I?
Nice.
Can I take one of these?
And so what are some good recipe ideas? Because I'm looking here at
Bread pudding?
bread pudding.
Right. Yeah. So it's going to make great bread pudding. All of our breads make delicious bread pudding, but I think it's going to be really unique because you're going to get those little veins of that icing in there. So you're going to take a bite, and then you're going to get a real sweet bite, and then you're going to get another, and it's just going to be
Can I take a little
delightful.
of this and just drizzle?
Ooh, there you go.
How about it?
Right.
Wait, here we go. Stick with me and my bread pudding, everybody. Oh, there you are. Because again, this is the very first time that we've had the Jenny Lee loaves with the icing on top.
And I do believe we have some factory footage that will show the process, how we ice the breads.
Okay.
That's the process. It's a little bit extra step. It's something that we got to take caution when we ice them, that the icing dries enough so that we go through the slicer, it doesn't gum up our slicer. So there's a lot of extra attention that we have to pay to these breads, but that's just what makes it so special.
And I have to tell you, the amount of icing, because it's not just like that thin, not barely there coating of icing. I mean, you really iced these loaves,
Right.
which is exactly what I want.
There's the man right there.
Dad, I want to bring him with me out to the studio one of these days.
He's gonna
So.
come out and be with us. But
Right here.
they're nice thick slices too. I mean, this would be like a perfect French toast, or if you want to just toast it in them. And what is the best way? Speaking of toast, what best way to toast them with the icing?
So the customers ask us for the thick slice. That's why these are so thick.
Can I show this?
Yeah. So I love to just put them in a pop-up toaster, stand them straight up. That icing will stay on top. If it's a light setting, it's not going to melt off.
Okay.
If you put it on a real hot setting, you can see, yes, it's going to slide off there
Right.
a little bit.
Look at that. I mean, look at the width of that slice. But then the bread inside is
So
really
and
moist.
the flavor is so good.
Yeah, and
it's the balance. It's got the
Right.
swirl. It's got the flavor. It's got the raisins. The one that I have.
And
Or if you
just
don't like
enough cinnamon.
raisin, you just have enough. Yeah. Or if you just want the cinnamon, you can get that too. You can't go
Right.
wrong.
And I love, again, some of the ideas. You mentioned French toast, Jane. This is like the ultimate French toast. But we can do sandwiches and things too, Scott, with our
Absolutely.
cinnamon bread as well.
You know what makes a better sandwich? But a little bit of savory and a little bit of sweet. So I always like, my favorite go-to with our raisin bread is generally like a thick cut ham, iceberg lettuce, a little bit of mayonnaise, and it's
Monte
just a
Cristo.
simple, right? Yeah, it's just a
Yep.
simple but tasty sandwich. That that kind of reminds me of Easter. We're coming up on Easter, so great way to use up the extra Easter ham.
All right, here's what's happening. This is the very first day we are offering the Jenny Lee loaves iced on top. You know and love these cinnamon loaves. This is the first time you're able to choose them with the icing on top. So let me give you a couple of updates. If you want all 4 loaves in the original cinnamon, we have 700 orders we can take. If you want all 4 of your loaves to be cinnamon raisin, we have fewer than 900 orders that we can take. Now, the combination, which will bring you 2 of the cinnamon and then 2 of the cinnamon raisin, that is the most popular choice right now. So if you want the combo, $29.98, you need to place your order. Let us know you'd like it. We do have auto delivery, by the way, because when I say the one-time only price is a price that's only for this show, it goes up from $30 at the end of this show. But if you're on auto delivery, you lock that in. And so every 60 days, you get your 4 loaves and you get them at that price.
You inflation-proof yourself.
It's true. That's,
Right.
I appreciate that. So you just iced a loaf for us.
Yeah, so you'll see, in our shop, we actually use an icing gun, and it sprays it on top or lays it on top. But then we've got a person that follows that individual, and we'll make sure, because sometimes you get a spot here, a spot there, and you can kind of see, you might see some finger streaks in that icing, because it's all done by hand.
It's done by hand.
Yeah, just to make sure we get a coating on top of the bread.
Wow. So it starts with that those traditional recipes.
Right.
Small
batch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we a batch makes less than 400 loaves. I think it's 360 loaves we get out of a batch of bread. So we're going to be making a lot of batches this week. And then fermentation. That fermentation is really the key. We just want yeast to do its job. That yeast activity is creating acids and alcohols and just a better mouthfeel and texture and bite on that finished product.
The balance is there, and the nice sweetness on the top too just kind of brings that whole circle of flavor together. So you've got the earthiness of that bread, the yeasted bread. You have the little bit of the cinnamon swirl, and then to top it off, just a little bit of something
Just a
sweet.
little bit.
It's
right.
good. And again, I don't know, Mary, if we can show, because it's not a little bit of icing. It's when you talk about that balance, because you will love the bread alone was great, but then you top it with that icing and it's not too sweet. It just enhances the whole flavor. And so when you see it, let me do this for you. Because that's the magic. That's what you're going to love, whether it's the toast for breakfast with the cup of tea, or whether it's the sandwich for lunch with the sweet and savory, or whether it's I've never had bread pudding that tastes this good. You want these loaves. So here's what's happening. We have a one-time only price. Basically, that's a sale price for you in this show with me and Jane and Scott. And when our show is done, the price goes up. But
well, it's unusual to actually have the one-time only offered first in the show. That gives you the longest. This is like the longest amount of time you have to know that price is expiring. So you've got 2 hours.
People get home from work.
Exactly. Like letting you know now.
They're hungry. They start thinking of what looks good.
What looks good.
Exactly. All right, let's give you some updates, because $29.98. Can I have you, Jane, hold up one of those loaves?
Yeah.
Because I want everybody to see. You're getting 4 of those. 4 of those loaves. And then, Scott, what should I do if I'm not going to eat it right away?
Sure. So what I always like to say is put a loaf on your in your bread box. Give one to your neighbor and put the other 2 in your freezer.
Okay.
They'll freeze fantastic. Just pull a couple slices out at a time as you need it.
You're not getting this at the grocery store. That's why you shop for it here.
Absolutely.
This is like your grandmother made it and then brought you some over. Let us know if you'd like it. Let us know if you want all 4 in cinnamon, all 4 in cinnamon raisin, or a combo that will bring you 2 of each for under $30, but only until the end of this show. Scott, great to meet you.
Scott.
Likewise, good to see you.
Thanks for coming in. Good to see you.
All righty.
All right, we've got the perfect drink to go with that bread.